YouTube, how the duck you doing? Today I'm going to be giving you my new updated tier list for Deadlock with adding Mirage. I'll quickly explain each character and why I think it should be in that spot, but anyways, let's get started. So kicking things off, going down the list, we're going to go with Abrams, and well, Abrams is definitely still going to be S tier. He did receive a couple nerfs and buffs in the recent patch, and well, his Infernal Resilience got reduced from 16% to 15%, as well as his tier 3 reduced from 9 to 8%. But his Siphon Life Spirit scaling was increased from 0.2 to 0.3. I still think he's a super viable option and a very strong character in the later game. Now going down the list, we have Bebop. I'm putting Bebop at, I would say, B. Now he got nerfed recently a lot, and I just feel like if not played correctly, he is not going to be scaling as well. And it's just a character that seems to be falling out of the meta currently, but still can be picked and used correctly. From there, we're picking Dynamo and putting Dynamo on S tier. Yes, Dynamo got nerfed in the recent patch with his ulti radius going from, I believe, 8 to 7, which can be a big change, but still, if paired correctly with your team and coordinated well, can absolutely demolish the enemy team. Following that, we have Great Talon. Great Talon got nerfed again, and as a Great Talon main, I feel sad to do this. I'm putting him at C, but honorary S. He's on C because, again, there's just better options to choose from than Great Talon, but he can be viable. But in like a team fight scenario, where you're just sitting there poking, if you get dove on, you don't have that much HP, even though you have a lot of survivability with all the stamina, especially with all the stamina builds. Again, there's just better options to choose from. Then we have Haze. I'm putting Haze on A. Yes, she did receive some nerfs, but again, she's still a super strong character. If you just AFK farm, even if you lose the lane, just keep farming, you'll eventually one-tap the enemy team, and it won't really matter if you're 0-20 or not, because it'll eventually be 6-20. Now the next character, Infernus, I believe he hovers between S and A. I think he's a very strong character with a ton of lifesteal, a ton of survivability, a ton of amazing team fight, and just a ton of damage, especially with the afterburn ability. So I'm actually going to put him on the S tier just because the amount of damage and survivability he has is ridiculous, and it's pretty unstoppable if you don't have the right items, or if you're not buying the right items, and can be super punishing to your team if they slack on those items. Now the next character is Ivy. We're actually going to slap Ivy in S. Her recent buffs have made her insane, especially with the Echo Shard build. She can do a ton of damage, pretty much covering the entire lane and all of her bombs. And well, again, there's nothing you can really do to counter it besides like knockdown and other things, but people don't know how to buy those items in my games, and I don't know why. So I'm putting her on S. Next up we have Kelvin, and I'm slapping Kelvin in A. Now Kelvin might not have the same amount of slow, they reduce it from 70% to 50%, but he still has a great ability to support and a ton of supporting util. You can still build a super supportive way, even though the slow was reduced. Again, the supportive util and mobility he has is just too good not to knock him down to B, but keep him at A. Now, as of recently, Lady Geist got buffed, and she's been putting in work. I've been watching my friends play her a lot, and they do really well. So for me, she hovers between B and A. Now, for my friend's sake, I'm going to put her in A, as in the right hands, she can do a lot, but if you just get out of her range of her ulti, there's not a whole lot she can do. So that's why I believe she's hovering between B and A, mainly because of her ultimate ability, but that's just me. When it came to Lash, I'm hovering more like BA for him. Again, he's another character with an insane utility and insane abilities in a team fight scenario. Yes, you can do the one-shot skybox tech off the beginning, but otherwise besides that, mainly you're playing for your ultimate ability, setting up for your team. So I'm going to put him on the B tier list. Again, this is all my opinion, so you can say what you want to say down in the comments. Following that, we have McGinnis, and well, I'm going to put McGinnis on C. The TF2 engineer, I think, builds better turrets than her, but that's just me. Then I'm going to Mo and Krill. I'm going to slap Mo and Krill in A. Again, he got nerfed and buffed. I believe the buff was that he does more movement speed inside of his burrow, and he has farther range with his disarm, which can be very annoying and very strong. I believe he's potential for S, but I don't think he's at S yet, so we're going to keep him on A. Next up we have Paradox, and for me personally, if Paradox is only good if played very well, I'm going to hover her between A and B. I'm putting her in B so that the tier list can look, nice and complete, but I think she hovers between the two. Again, in the right hands, she can definitely be very strong. She sets up her team nicely with all of her utility, but we're going to put her on B for, my OCD's sake. Then we have Pocket. Pocket received some nerfs this recent patch. If you haven't seen my patch notes video, click top right. Pocket is still a super strong character, even though you can't do affliction through walls. The fact that you can still do affliction and do a ton of damage, we're going to be putting him on S. I don't see anywhere else he would be placed. This the amount of damage, the amount of mobility, what you can buy, what your options are. Is just too good of a character. Now here comes 7. For 7, we're going to be actually placing him on the B list. I don't think he's as good as what he used to be, because again, the recent patch on September 26, he got nerfed. And again, make sure to click the patch notes video. And I've been seeing him less and less in games, so that's the reason. Shiv is an interesting one. He got nerfed again, but he still feels incredibly strong. I'm going to put him between S and A, and I'm actually going to lean more towards the S position. Mainly for the fact that the character is just dumb in my eyes. He does too much damage, has so much survivability, and there's pretty much no reason not to pick him in your games. Then moving on to Vindicta. Then when it comes to Vindicta, I'm going to be putting her in the A category. Now Vindicta, I don't think she's crazy insane, but I do believe she still does a decent amount of damage even with the changes she's recently gone through. She can still propose a threat on the map and can be good, but as of right now, she's sitting on A, at least for me. Next up, we have our green Goofin, Viscous. I'm going to be slapping Viscous on A. He's very annoying in lane. He has a ton of helpful utility for his team with the cube. He has a lot of teamfight potential, pokes a ton in lane. Generally a very solid character, but I don't think he's S potential. If he was S potential, I need to see his ultimate do like 3000 damage or something. Next up, we have Warden. And while the recent nerfs have affected him greatly, we're slapping him in the B category. I don't think he's good anymore. He still can be played, but again, I don't think he's as good as what he once was. Same with Wraith. We're slapping Wraith in B. Again, I don't think she's amazing. She has potential to still be good, but again, the recent nerfs have made her least likely to get picked. But again, she can still do a ton of damage in the right hands. Now for Yamato, we're slapping Yamato in S. I believe that character is still super strong. Many of you might disagree with me, saying she's not S, but I believe she still does a ton of damage and can be very, very, very good in the right hands. Now last but not least is our new character Mirage. I hover Mirage S and A. I believe Mirage is a very strong character right now. Again, this is my opinion. So we're going to slap him in A actually. He got nerfed recently, or the second he came out, he got nerfed like quickly, as he was a little too strong. And I believe he's still strong in the right hands, but again, that's just me. But anyways, that was my quick little tier list on the current Deadlock characters after the patch on September 26th. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your opinion. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.